Yes,
Okay,
if you haven't,
and
everybody join the stream to watch Glasses draw. He's just going to be doing some art on the side.
yeah, and I'm going to start. There you go.
Ta-da!
Hello, everyone. Uh, I just came back home an hour ago, so that's a good thing we pushed the time a bit. So let me see the questions. I think most questions are going to be for you, Cypher, but that's predictable. What made you choose or work on Shift Story? Uh, the start is I wanted to use the parts of the code from the Brock engine. I thought that there was already everything ready to make a visual novel in with the code of Brock. So I thought, why not do a proper engine? And I already thought that it would make it easier to make new games if I had such engine. So I did a first version of the VN engine, which I showed in secret. And I asked a few people, which I knew already, to to submit stuff, some quick examples, and among them was Cypher's example on a rat novel, and that's how it started.
Yeah, so before I answer that question, I just want to make sure everybody knows who's who. So I'm Cypher slash Austin. I'm kind of like the lead developer on Celsius Strays, handling the art and writing and whatnot. Uh, Joshua here is the voice for Kins and Dart in Brock, and then he also voiced Chief in the Celsius Strays demo.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's the professional rat man, and of course, Fabrice Calcat is the grandmaster behind everything: the world, the engine, the amazing everything. And Glasses is here as moral support, as super talented artist extraordinaire. So he didn't work directly on Celsius, but he's always a good source of feedback and commentary and whatnot. So
Yeah,
love having him here.
we have a small team which works in secret, and we exchange on our projects. So you don't see that part, but those who work on Brock stuff, we know each other pretty
Yes, lots of
well.
stuff happens behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, Richmond, what made me choose to work on Chief's story? Actually,
We can pretty much say that Brawl Bar is a GlassesGator's project because he did most of the character design and ideas for it. While
yeah,
Nook Day did the comic book. So
yes, which is also recently released. So I hope people are starting to get all their comics in the mail and everything. That's cool. Okay, but answer the what chose to work on the Chief story. So I, as Fabrice mentioned, he kind of reached out to several people to let us know, hey, I'm splintering off the engine to be able to make visual novels, and here's the documentation on how to do it. Hey, if you have an idea for something, make something. And so I actually had been thinking in the back of my head, maybe I'll actually pitch a visual novel story idea to Calcat before I even knew about this engine that he was doing. And so when he announced that, I was like, okay, well, I kind of need to seize the day. And the choice of it being the rats, uh, just for me, I am first and foremost a writer. And so my mind goes to what stories in this world would be interesting to tell. And coming off of Brock, yeah, you've got characters like Sin and D and RJ and their relationship and everything, and it's like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. But really, the number one standout to me, as far as like, I'm interested in exploring more of these characters and seeing what makes them tick, um, was the Squealers. So that was kind of the origin point of, what would a story involving them be? How would that, involve both familiar and new characters? What sort of trouble could they get into? Um, and how might we explore the world of Atlasia in some new and interesting ways?
Yeah, I think there was something interesting that I noticed. It's almost all of the fan games which are made with the engine so far have Chief as the main character, so that's pretty funny. And I wonder if that's because my example demo for the engine has the squealers. So maybe I influenced the this VN. I don't know, but I, I think there was a potential for the squealers for sure. So that was gonna happen sooner or later, I think. um,
Yeah, just reposting that the questions can go there if anybody hasn't asked yet. Um, is Cypher going to also be a game dev now, or is this just a one-time project? So, funnily enough, the reason I was thinking of pitching a visual novel to Fabrice to begin with was I do have another game that I've been working on the side before I started working on Celsius. And so, yes, eventually I do have other game ideas, kind of in a similar vein, potentially as far as visual novel, narrative-based puzzle storytelling. Um, so this probably will not be my only game, but it is my first. So I look forward to that, hopefully. But right now it's all in on Celsius. So I'm putting the other project on hold for now.
yeah, hopefully you'll make it with the my engine. Now that you're a master of the coding of the Brock VN engine.
Maybe,
uh,
yeah. That has passed through my mind. It's like, hey, well, I already know how to use this engine.
and yeah, that's why you set up your company logo. I thought people would recognize the hat in your logo, but that didn't happen. That's too bad.
I was
Now,
surprised not too many did, yeah.
now they know. Yes, I'm French, and I don't talk so often, so it's still a bit complicated for me. But as long as you understand me. C'est le fromage. Oui, tout à fait. C'est le fromage. Thank you.
We won't hold your Frenchness against you too badly.
Yeah. And someone had actually a question about French Nook Day asks which rat is the most French. I think the answer is pretty easy. That's Dart because his mustache immediately makes people think. I think we should give him a baguette because, and a beret, of course.
And a striped shirt.
Yeah.
And then he's going to say his favorite video game to play is Claire Obscura.
Oh no, yeah. Okay. Let's see the other
I feel like
question.
Dart is the most physically French. Ken is the most spirit French.
Are you saying French people are insane?
Yes.
Okay, you're correct.
There's a variety of things that you could imply with Kins being French. Dangerous waters.
Let's see, and just before that question, I've just played the demo. This is from Nex, whose goofy avatar I initially thought was Ken's, and it freaked me out a little bit, speaking of Ken's. Just played the demo, and I'm already sold on Celsius. Thank you. Is there an estimate on how long the game will last? So, the prologue is about a third of the length of what immediately follows, which is chapter 1, and the game is going to have 8 chapters. So I think we've totaled it out to expect a playtime around like 15 to 20 hours, give or take. So that's about at least what I'm thinking.
I'm going to post the link to our Patreon, which has a frequently asked question, which actually answered this, because we said there will be 8 chapters and it would be around 15 to 20 hours of play, but that's really a rough estimate because we're still very much in development.
Yes, so be sure to check that out. Obviously, not just for the aspect of it, providing updates to the game and being able to support it, but, we'll post news about, again, frequently asked questions and whatnot. So that's going to basically be the main hub of stuff.
About the Patreon, so we chose to go this route because it's well suited for a visual novel, which is more narrated based. But considering we are trying to make a premium game, we did things a bit different from the norm, which is that we are gonna release only a free demo, but after that only the Patreon people, the subscribers, will have access to early builds. So there will be a possibility to follow the development and get early builds and get extra streams specifically for the members, but you'll have to be a Patreon member to be able to get them.
Yeah, and that's actually a good segue into Twisted Twister's question of, are there going to be way more rats introduced? Yes. So, playing through the demo, there were some name drops of other squealers mentioned, who of course will appear, and then we'll also be seeing other rats in the rat colony. And not just rats, but there are going to be plenty of new characters who live in the slums introduced. And also potentially some familiar faces. Don't get your hopes up too much. The entire cast of Brock is not going to show up, but you might end up seeing some people who are familiar.
Yep, I already have a few insights on who those other rats are. but you'll have to wait. Let's see. Is this a story canon to the main game or a different story separate from the main game? So it's kind of both, but we're always talking. As I mentioned, we do streams regularly between us, and so we are always in touch on the plot and things like that. And so, yeah, we'll try to make this canon as possible. So, yeah.
Yeah, my goal with it is everything I write, I am writing it to be as respectful to the pre-established world and the storyline of Brock. So nothing in it is going to be, directly contradicted. Like, oh yes, it ends and Atlasia blows up. Brock 1 couldn't possibly have happened, or anything like that. Now, how strictly rigidly canon it will be considered, going into the development of Brock 2, that's ultimately up to Fabrice. But as the writer, I am treating it as something where it absolutely has to respect the canon, and it's not just some alternate universe that can do whatever it wants.
Yeah, so I'm not the writer, but it should be. Who is Wentel who asks to speak? I don't know. Sorry. Can we disrespect the canon just a little bit? What do you mean by this exactly? Did Kings?
I can see your stream just fine, Glasses. It's fine for me.
Yeah, I see it too. Did Kings force you to create this game? Maybe, I don't know.
Hey,
I don't force anybody to make anything. I just sort of surreptitiously put it in their minds, and they do it, and I never get the credit for it.
Is my check in the mail? Oh, see, now it disappears once I bring up payment. Now Kins doesn't want to say anything.
Yeah, because I know you're not going to pay me.
You're paying me. I'm improving your public persona.
Yeah, that's cheap. I need moolah.
You got to spend money to make money.
But I don't got money!
Well then, what do I have you here for? Ugh.
Yeah, I think I will form a union, something like that.
No
Right.
union.
No union?
No way. Will there be some action stuff in the full game? So, what you see in the prologue, I think that's the extent of the action you're gonna see in the full game, but maybe Cypher wants to add to this, I don't know.
Yeah, so I mean, the game itself is going to have all sorts of narrative, drama, and moments of action and whatnot. It's not going to have action stuff as in suddenly it's a fighting game and you can play as Chief and, perform combos and everything. Not that sort of action.
I considered that option at the very, very start of the project, but yeah, it's more simple to do a VN.
Yeah, so there will be action in the VN,
Yeah.
but it still is primarily a narrative
Yeah,
experience.
that will be through cutscenes and choices.
Yep. Let's see. Yes, BDFS Minotaur asks, related question to Twisted Twisters, how many squealers are there in total? It seems like they're quite limited in their numbers. Yeah, so I don't have an exact number, but you could probably imagine somewhere between like 75 to 150 squealers. So a fairly small group, but large enough that you gotta be on top of resources, and Chief has to get food for everybody and make sure everybody's safe and healthy and whatnot. So it's a challenge for him.
Yeah, I'm looking at the stream, and that's a really cool artwork. Chief with a kid, red kid on his back. Maybe I should post it if some people can see. I don't know. Because I see some people can see the stream. Where are the questions? Okay, I will post it. Copy link. How has the development workflow been for Celsius compared to Brock? Has it been overall easier or more challenging? Well, the thing is, with the VN engine, it's tailored to make this kind of game. So that was the whole point of the engine, is to make it easier. For example, the Natal Tale visual novel, it's a project I did in 1 month approximately. Because I was kind of burnt out of spending 6 years on the main game of Brock. So I wanted to reuse the stuff as much as possible and make it easier. And with this project, Natal Tale, I wanted to prove that it would be possible. And so it helps the other project like this one now. So I think if someone like Cypher, who's never really coded before, can use it, I think most people should be able to use the engine to make cool stuff. So don't hesitate to try it. It's free, and you can download without issues. And we offer support directly on this Discord. So I wanted also to mention that I'm always open for pitches to potential other projects. So especially if they're Brock related. So I'm not saying I will accept anything. I still want motivated people who can do high quality stuff. I don't request that you master every aspect of game development. You don't have to do super great art or super great story, but if you can do one aspect well, I can maybe work with you. I don't know. The option is open. If you're motivated and want to pitch me something. Yeah.
There's no third person over the shoulder action games, right?
Wait, can you repeat? I was reading the question at the same time.
I said just no third person over the shoulder action games in the Brock universe. Right?
Oh no, no way, no, and yeah, it's the whole point of making visual novel is that it's easier than making action stuff. For example, Brawl Bar to me was a much more complicated project, despite the lower reception for now, at least. So I still do action stuff once in a while, but I also know that the community seems to prefer narrative games. So I think in the future there will be no more narration games, but I still intend to do action sometimes, especially if there is a sequel someday.
Yeah. Well, and I want to piggyback off of what you said and just reiterate. I am not a coder. I do not have
Yeah.
any experience in coding. That is not a skill set that I have. And so while there was, a little bit of a learning curve in figuring out the VN engine, I mean, Fabrice's very exhaustively prepared documentation on all of its features, and then given examples of how it works and is actually implemented in the engine. So for me, it was a very simple process of, if I did get stumped on something, I could refer to, well, how was it done in this sample, VN slice that he prepared for the documentation, and then I could then take that and translate its use to whatever I wanted to do in my game. So, for anybody who is interested in developing something or whatever, it's, if I can do it, people can do it.
Yeah.
So do it.
It's still very much in development engine, but I think there are already some stuff that is better suited than the obvious engine for making visual novel, which is RenP. For example, my engine is built on top of GameMaker, so some stuff like handling gamepad controllers and making console exports or iOS, this kind of stuff is already handled. I have also experience for doing such ports. So the great thing about my engine is that it can do some stuff that RenP doesn't. But I don't know RenP enough to say whether it's more simple to use or not. I don't exactly know, but I tried to make it as beginner friendly as possible while still providing some advanced stuff, of course, because the engine was a bit tailored to make this VN2. We added some stuff that we needed for this VN, but it can be reused in other projects, of course.
Let's see. Jumping back into the question feed here. The Classic Dreamer asks, does Celsius Strays take place in an alternate timeline, or does it take place prior to the main game? And that's similar to what Sand Puppy also asked, is where in the timeline does it take place? It is set 1 year before the events of Brock. So, players of the demo might have noticed that the rats are not where they are in Brock. They do not live in a sewer. They are not located where they are in Brock, and there is a reason for that. And so yes, this takes place a year before Brock, a year before they end up there, so that's the timeline.
Yeah, I'm just reacting to someone who asked whether they should look into if the Brock VN engine works for an original ID. Yes, you can also use the engine for your own ideas, which are totally unrelated to Brock. Of course, it's just a matter of drawing your own characters.
Well,
So
that's actually another good point to mention, is so everything you see in the demo was made with the Brock VN engine, and everything you see in the demo is pretty much assets made from the ground up.
yeah.
And so if I could do that for drawing brand new sprites of Chief and Dart and Kens and everything, then you could do that making your own characters and world and everything. So it is not in any way restricted to, oh, you need to use these sprites, or oh, it only has to be Brock related. It's the limits are your imagination.
Yeah, and stuff like lip sync and animated mouths, which is We wanted to make a really high quality VN compared to what exists, what you find on itch.io, etc. We really wanted to focus on quality, even if it's shorter than what you find elsewhere. But we went for good animation. Most of the VN you can find are not even animated. Ours do. It's a lot of work, but I think it's worth it when you have. When what you see in a VN most of the time is character stalking, it feels super important to me. And we also put efforts in the background, which are hand painted by Max Wilson. And there's interactions, there are cutscenes, and there are voices, which is also something pretty uncommon. So yeah, maybe the game won't be as long as some others, but it should have. We should keep a high standard overall, with a good rhythm, etc.
Yeah. Let's see what's next. Dalatrox. This is kind of about the VN engine stuff, which we were just talking about. Okay, I might have a totally different kind of question about how he got an idea of creating your own engine for that, and how difficult it is to prepare something like this. It's an interesting stuff for me, since I like technical stuff from programming, or in general know some things.
Yeah,
so I think we mostly talked about that. But
yeah. It's built on top of GameMaker. I will use code which I already had, but GameMaker itself is not that complicated to use. I just made an abstraction layer on top of it. So whereas you have to manage instances and all variables one by one in a game maker. Instead, here we'll say there is an image here, there is a clickable area there. It's very much abstracted, so it makes things easier for us. And I can announce this, I intend to use this engine in all my future projects, considering it makes things easier for me too. So I'm going to add stuff progressively. So it might be able to do more than visual novels in the end. Yep. But we'll see.
See, next from Caesar Bear. Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing that. For my question, how did you come up with this idea with the squealers? So I kind of answered that a little bit. Caesar Bear, okay. I kind of answered that a little bit, but just in the sense of the initial idea of pitching an idea and why the squealers felt like they had the most story to tell. But when I was creating the pitch concept, I was just using placeholder art and graphics, either from Grok or just images from games that I found on the internet or whatever. And funnily enough, one of them was an image from the game This War of Mine that I used as a background. And in the background, there was this building on fire. And I just had the background in because it fit sort of the tone I was going for. But then I thought to myself, well, why is it on fire? And so as I'm preparing this pitch document, I'm writing Chief and Dart and Kin's interaction, and then I had to answer, why is something on fire? And so that kind of served as the initial conflict there in that pitch. And then that ended up making me think, like, okay, well, now that I'm actually developing the game as a whole, what could be something actually really interesting as far as there being some sort of conflict within the slums and stuff going on, and some sort of mystery and conspiracy brewing in the background. And so that was a completely unintended bit of inspiration that happened just because I was using placeholder graphics, but it ended up inspiring a core part of the story. So.
Okay. Mr. Coltrix says, seeing that there are split path decisions which in turn can result in exponential outcomes, how would you strike a balance with the amount of choices you can make? The first decision, for example, has a charming set of outcomes, though I'm curious on how it wouldn't get out of hand in advance, writing-wise and gameplay-wise. We actually talked about this on our end. So it's very possible that for the next builds, we're trying to focus on making just one path, and later on we would add more decisions, more paths, more routes, knowing that we may do a bit like the Brock main game, which is there is gonna be relation points, or stuff like that. So it may be the result of several decisions which may alter to get another path. So that will reduce the number of outcomes a bit, so it doesn't get totally out of hands. But that's a risk we have to keep in mind, because I had that problematic when making Brock already. That it's really easy to think too big and to go everywhere at once. So yeah, we're keeping this in mind for the later stages of development. If you want to add something on this, Cypher.
Well, yeah. So one thing I'll say from my perspective, one of the things that I loved about the original Brock game was just how much the player's choice actually mattered. I mean, it's everybody kind of jokes around about Telltale games and so will remember this, but everybody's kind of gotten used to, like, okay, my choices don't actually matter that much. That's sort of the standard that's been set.
No one will remember anything.
Yeah, exactly. It's all fake in Telltale, and that's what ruined them, in my opinion.
Yeah, and so with Brock, having those moments of, oh wow, I'm able to actually make it to Graf's school event on time if I break out of prison fast enough. That blew my mind, because games don't usually do that. They don't actually let the player have a significant impact on the story. And so that's something that really impacted me, and is something that I want to try my best to replicate in this, where the players' interactions and the choices that they make and the investments that they make into the characters and leading the colony and everything is going to be stuff that will actually matter, will actually shape the story. So that's an important thing for me. That is definitely on top of my priority when it comes to creating the game experience.
Okay. So the next question is, are there going to be any more voice roles available for this project? And it's Boyd, the cyborg rooster, which I asked this. Yeah, probably, of course. It's going to be. Yeah, you could, but I think
I'm just gonna do every single one. It's just gonna be a one-man thing.
Yeah, you'll do the boys, the baby, the elder, no problem.
Exactly.
Yeah,
as far as voice work goes, that's probably going to be one of the last things that we deal with once the game has completely been written and pretty much everything's been made.
Yeah.
Graphics-wise,
So. We didn't mention this, but the voice acting, there will probably not be voice acting for the next early builds on the Patreon, because we're going to focus on other stuff, and there may be script changes. When you change the text, you have to redo lines. It's not very practical. So voice acting may be one of the final thing when we are close to full release. So I'm just anticipating that. Don't be surprised if there's not voice acting in the next chapters until release.
Yeah, but we will make, like, when we get to the point eventually of casting, we'll make sure that that's publicly known and people have the chance to audition for that. So.
Yeah, and we'll go for high quality voice acting.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is not the case right now.
Yes. No. I mean, we're stuck with the draft.
Horrible.
Fighting words.
I'm joking.
I will take my voice back.
We don't want to hear you.
Oh.
We don't want to hear about all the twisted stuff in your head.
But the people want me, see? People. They love me.
Yeah, you're now the most sexy beast. We're all going to F.A.Q now. It's
Oh no. I'm not ready for that.
Good.
Let's see. Did we answer Nico's question about the development rock?
Yeah, more or less. Yeah, I think. Yeah, maybe I took the question out of order. I think we did more or less reply this. Yeah. The next one. Yeah. So, Sandy, does your main focus on Rat's game in next few years means that you have no plans in starting other project like Brock sequel in the meantime before this game release, or are you interested in some simultaneous work? Well, the good news is that the whole point of getting a team to work on a spin-off game is for me to be free to do other stuff at the same time, which wasn't possible until now because I've been really busy with the Brawl Bar in particular, which took almost 2 years, alongside the Brock VN engine itself, managing the comic too, Natal Tale, etc. So all this stuff made me busy, and I couldn't do anything else until now. So now I should be more free to do more stuff, and I'm pretty excited for it too. So you shouldn't be awaiting something like a sequel immediately. It's gonna take a few more years for sure, but yeah, we are going to work on other works, other projects in the same time, and maybe there will be more spin-offs or something, but for now we showed everything that was in the pipeline, but maybe more will arrive, will be started soon. We'll see. I always like to have several projects at once, but we have to make sure it's manageable at the same time. So it's a balance. It's a matter of balance.
Yeah. Let's see. Next from Codemus. Will Celsius Strays be part of the game's main canon, or be its own side story outside the main Brock story? So yeah, I mentioned this before. It's intended to respect the canon and not be some alternate universe thing. But
2 and the main Brock story is not beholden to what I make in this. So, semi-canon? Question mark? Basically.
Yeah, it's another story, but it's linked to it, so it gives a level of freedom, and at the same time, it's not totally separate from the main game. So I think that's the ideal situation to make it handled by someone else. So yeah.
I will say that I'm regularly in contact with Fabrice and running by any ideas or character concepts by him. So if I ever have a thought of like, oh, what about this for Dart's character or Chief, I make sure to get his approval first. So.
Yeah. On the other hand, Cypher knows the character really well already, so I am going to to pronounce this correctly. We rarely have disagreement. Usually, there's no issues at all. I agree with his ideas, and so that works pretty well.
Let's see. Fong asks, for the characters we send into the missions and get the rewards with, are they all restricted into the visual novel storyline only? Or will there be an entire strategy mode where you can send your members and get random results and rewards? Really good question.
Mm-hmm.
The exact details of how the command mission mode is still something that we're refining in the background. I don't want it to just be strictly narrative only. I do want it to be something that players feel like they have control over, that they can engage with as gameplay. Ultimately, one of the core goals of the VN is kind of fulfilling the power fantasy of, hey, you're a leader of a group, and they're, counting on you to guide them to survive. And so delivering on that gameplay notion is important to me. So it'll likely be a blend of the two, where there will be, this strategic aspect where, hey, you got to send all these people, and there are a bunch of different things, and you may not have all the time to do everything, but that will have an impact on the story and on the characters and on their relationships with one another. So it'll kind of all flow together and hopefully be kind of a mutual good thing.
I think I'll let you answer the next one too, Cypher, from Sketchy Dog.
Yes. How set in stone would you say your current plans for the storyline of the game is? Like, do you have an outline for the main important plot elements, and you're going to fill out a lot of the details later? Or do you already pretty much know everything that will happen and have later dialogue? So the way I write, it's kind of iterative, in the sense of I will start with initially I start with, there will be like core big story moment ideas that I say to myself, I know I want that to happen at some point. This big scene, this big character reveal, this dramatic moment. And so once I've got those core sort of tent-pole moments, then I begin to structure the story to make it actually work as a whole. And so, okay, how do we navigate through the story to hit all of those moments? And once that's lined up so that it is a more or less rough outline of beginning, middle, and all of these events that happen, then I can start to iterate the finer details of, okay, what conversations does this character have? Who are all of the people they run into along the way? What side stories or dramas may come up and provide conflict and whatnot. So as of right now, the overarching story is figured out. That's done. So all of the main core story moments are set in stone. And certain chapters are written and fleshed out with dialogue and multiple choices and player options and all that sort of stuff. But then there are other parts where right now it's just the outline, and I don't have, I've not written all of the character dialogue and everything. So basically, start large scale and then slowly refine elements more and more and more. Which, as a writer, I find that the more I begin to write in a world or with characters, the more details actually emerge from that process. There have been a lot of different things that I didn't explicitly think about, I didn't plan for, but as I was writing dialogue, oh, this character says this, and I think to myself, well, hang on, that ties into this thing over here. And so I begin to make connections in my head, and it develops the world and deepens it and makes it all a more rich experience. So it's kind of fun to see things grow and develop the more I work in it.
Yeah, I was going to mention that it's the same process I had for the main game already. I got most of my ideas often at night when in bed. I was thinking about the scenes, about the characters, and I suddenly made the connections, and that was. That's really cool when your mind made connection, but you weren't yourself aware of them, and it all works out. And it took actually several years to write the main game. I kept adding stuff to it, so the characters would have a lot of depth. And that's something I'm going to do again for the possible sequel. So you can bet whenever the day happens, it's gonna be there's gonna be similar stuff from the main game, but probably even better because that's been many years now since the first game was released, and I'm always writing stuff on my own. I have a file where I write ideas progressively, and so there's always more and more added to it, and I think it's gonna be great when I finally have time to start working on it.
Yeah. So a lot of times when people play a game or read a story, they think that's just how it was written from start to finish. And no, it takes a lot of refinement and iteration to get it to that point.
Yeah, there's no magic wand that you can use for making a plot work. I think it's just a matter of spending time on it, and it works out after a while. But yeah, let's see. So Maccodemus asks, without spoiling too much, of course, what character did you have the most fun writing for so far, if they can be discussed at the moment? So that's a question for you, Cypher.
Well, I imagine everybody knows. Or they can probably tell.
Oh, no, he's back.
It's Kins. Kins was an absolute joy to write. Anytime I had to write dialogue with him, it flowed very, very naturally because in his nature, he is a very vocal and opinionated character, which means that thinking of contributions he would have to a conversation comes easily. Whereas somebody like Dart is a bit more soft-spoken. He's a bit more muted in his opinions, and so sometimes it was a little harder to find what angle he would take in contributing to a conversation. But Ken's just was super easy, super fun, and I'm extremely self-conscious about my work and very, very, very critical. But there were even a few Ken's dialogue segments that I wrote that even had me like laughing. So yeah, I did something right with him.
Yeah, we were always joke about games privately, and the fun stuff is that when I worked on these characters for Brock, at the start they were just simple enemies. I needed to have some action for action parts, but as the time went, we added more. Personality to them. I started by giving kings some kinds of how to say it. He's kind of weird and twisted, and you've seen this in one particular ending, for example. I think most of you played the game, so you know. And yeah, you can see this in the Brawl Bar also because we featured Dart, who also has he has his own personality in that he wanna be do wrestling and stuff, and if there's one thing that interesting, it's that. Dart is the only character so far which is in every project. If you notice, he's in the main game, in Brawl Bar, in the Telltale at the credits, and he's in this VN. So maybe Dart is secretly the main character of Brock. I don't know.
Let's see. Nookday asks, "Does Chief kiss all the homies goodnight?" No.
I fist bump them. As in, I bump them with my fist in their face.
Yeah, one constant
That is
thing,
how I show love.
Yeah, one constant thing with these characters that we write is that they all have positive and negative aspect. They all have trouble in their personality. They try to grow to yeah. I don't like making boring characters which are just happy and no, it's more interesting to have characters which you can try to make them in difficult situations and see how they react to it, and how can they survive in such a cruel world. And yeah, we try to vary these characters too, so it gets interesting when they interact with each other. This all kinds of stuff. We vary their age, their past, their species too, of course. Many things.
Yeah. And that's actually probably one thing to add on to the note about Kins and everything. I know that on the Discord and everything is joking around about liking Kins' character and everything. There's no favoritism on my part. My responsibility as a writer is to be faithful to all aspects of these characters, both their funny and positive and good sides, and also their flaws and their bad sides and all that sort of stuff.
Mm.
And so, like with Kins, my approach wasn't like, oh, how do I, make this character, nice, and how do I fix Kins or whatever, or anything like that. It's like, no, how do I expand
Did you? Does Mika has an issue? I can't hear. Hello. I can't hear anyone. Yeah, you can hear me at least. Oh, too bad. Okay, so I'm the only one speaking. Let's see. Wait, I forgot the topic. Well, you're hopefully trying to fix this. So yeah, the characters. I was going to say we don't hesitate to go hard on them. If it's kind of like oh, you're back. Okay, it's kind of like in the main game. I did not hesitate to kill my characters if I needed to. And I think all the main characters at one point in one path they can kick the bucket. So I think that makes things interesting when there are real challenges, there are real effects to your choices too, because it always comes back to the gameplay and making it important to the players to care. It's also a thing about caring about the characters, because the more stuff that happens to them and the more you feel for them. So that's why there are conflicts, there are always something happening. Okay. If you had stuff to add before you were cut.
Yeah, sorry about that. The router died on us, but we should be back now.
Yeah.
Let me pull it back up. My chat stopped refreshing, so we fixed it. But yeah, as far as what I was just saying is just with Kinz's character and all of them, looking for those opportunities to really explore, the good and bad qualities of them, and seeing where the conflict arises, both internally for them, but then also as it impacts the characters around them. That's really where a lot of the engaging story moments come out. And so that's my responsibility as the writer, is just to be faithful to these characters and make them feel real and true and lived in.
Mm-hmm. I see a question from Xover, which asks, who asks, sorry. What are some tips for the up-and-coming BrockVN media creators? So I assume you mean anyone making use of the BrockVN engine? So my tip would be to start simple. Really, I think the most important is to, for example, just modify the lines in the example dialogue. It's the most simple thing to do, and it already shows that it's easy enough to use the engine. You can add lines easily. You add characters, all the Brock characters, the main game, all the characters are in the engine, they are built in, so you can just simply use their name in the dialogue file, and they should appear. So it's pretty easy to start, and when you've got the hang of this, you can start checking more complicated stuff like the documentation with the script. The script part allows you to really make a game with rooms and clickable stuff, etc. So yeah, I think it's important to start simple, and that should motivate you to do more stuff.
Yeah, I would back that up. So what you're seeing here in the prologue took about a year and a half to make all of the assets. So it took a lot of time. So if you immediately jump into something and you want to make dozens and dozens of character art and backgrounds and all that sort of stuff, it's going to take a while. So
Yeah,
either pace yourself or start small.
Yeah, I would like to point out that don't even try to do this level of quality from the start, because it took us more than 2 years to get to this state. So yeah, that takes time to make great stuff. So even if you do a pitch to me, it's okay if it is not that level. I don't expect. I really don't expect that level of quality, especially for a pitch.
Yes.
So we have a question from Omega 4th. Yes or no question. Will we find out what Brock did to the chief that sent him into the blinding rage in the main game, from Chief's perspective anyway? So it's difficult to say yes and no, because there's going to be some aspects which will be explored, some aspects of his personality and from his past, but we also want to keep some stuff for the sequel, which that won't be a surprise, but it will also have some stuff happening in the past as well. So it's a mix. There will be a kind of both, but for sure you're going to see more of Chief's personality from this VN.
Yeah. And obviously the failed coup that happened on Autarchism Day is a absolutely central catalyzing event for Chief and the Squealers, and so it's going to be mentioned, and everything that happened that day, and then the fallout of it into the present, of course, is going to be a part of their story. But also, I want to leave certain things for Calcat to explore in the sequel. So Brock specific stuff will probably not so much be the focus.
Yeah. Question from Bourlanger. Python Blue is back for the soundtrack after working on Brock the Investigator. How important was it to keep a cohesive musical experience between both games, even though they are technically different styles? And will the soundtrack be purchasable on Steam or otherwise? So the thing is, I wish he was here to answer also questions, but we try to keep cohesive musical experience. It's a bit the same style, but it's a bit more gritty, because Chief himself is, and we'll try to make it purchasable on Steam. However, you may have noticed that the trailer music was not done by Python, but by Matt Creamer, which is another composer, and he did the stuff for Shakedown Hawaii and another game which I forgot the name of the older game, which was similar, which Retro City Rampage. Yeah, I think that's it. And we are considering that maybe he will do more tracks also in this VN. So we'll see. It may be a mix of several composers, but in the end, yeah, of course, we'll try to make it purchasable.
Yeah, so it's kind of a little bit similar to the situation with the voices in the game, where we wanted this prologue to be a full, complete experience, without 100% committing to anything. So, in the final game, maybe some of the voices might change or be a little different. Maybe the music will be a little different. So, for example, there are several tracks in the demo that are royalty-free tracks that I got. So those won't be in the final game because we want it to be a completely original soundtrack. What? I cut out again.
No, that works. I can hear you.
Oh, I'm good. You
Yeah.
cut out. Aha! The Rat Man cut out, not me.
Oh.
Sorry. But I lost my train of thought. Music. Future. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we want it to be, a completely original soundtrack. So as we, go further into development, we'll figure out what all that looks like. But who composes what and how it all sounds, that's a little bit in limbo right now. But what you see in the prologue absolutely should give you an idea of sort of the tone and energy that we're going for with the soundtrack. So, yeah.
I see a question from Sliden in. So, Austin, I really gotta ask you and to Cocat, if you guys get enough money, would you do animated cutscenes for specific moments, even for Brock 2 someday? I think those features would bring in a more new look for the game and make some scenes more impactful. So yeah, that's kinda a budget thing, which is that animated cutscenes are way more expensive to make than regular artworks, static stuff. But maybe I always consider it. I always think, especially for trailers, of course, it attracts more attention when there's animated stuff. So yeah, but I'm always trying to keep the budget in mind. But yeah, of course, that would be an option, and that would make it even better, of course. But yeah, we have to keep things in check, and I'm not going to make a full traditional animated film, 90 minutes. No, that's not going to happen, of course. But some cutscenes, maybe some important ones. Yeah.
I mean, I would love that, but
Oh, of course.
The ability to actually make that a reality depends, yeah, definitely on the budget. I mean, if we snapped our fingers and suddenly we had all the budget in the world, oh, absolutely, I would love to do tons of animated cutscenes and an animated trailer and all that sort of stuff. But we have to prioritize what is possible.
Yeah, maybe that's something we'll check or add more later in development. I think it's more important to focus on the important part first.
Yeah.
So, question from Vito Talford. This is a bit out of the blue, but will there be a few cameos from the current Brock games? So we already said that maybe some characters would appear from the main game, or maybe the board bar, I don't know. But that's not the focus, but maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, those characters live in the same world, and so paths may cross. That's definitely in the back of my head. So I would say you can expect cameos. Don't expect a lot, though.
Yeah.
Temper your expectations.
Yeah. Whenever there'll be a sequel, you can bet a lot of characters will come back. Coolio asks silly kinda question: is there something you're looking forward in the VN? Like a moment you are eager to see come to life. So that's more a question for you, I think.
Looking forward to in the VN. Yeah, actually. I can't really say what they are because they're
Yeah, I was
spoilers.
gonna say that would go into spoiler territory. Yeah.
Um, I mean, so yeah, no, I really can't say that. I'll say this much: there are things coming up in the next chapter, so chapter 1, that I'm really excited for, both with character introductions and moments and story beats and all that sort of stuff. And then there's some other stuff much later on in the game that I haven't even written the dialogue for yet, but I am extremely excited for, and I think people will really, really, really like. It gets me pumped. Let's put it that way. So, yes, there are things that I'm excited about, which serves as good, inspiration and fuel to keep going when there are those moments where I'm writing a scene and the words aren't flowing well or whatever. It helps to be like, but this scene, I'm gonna write this one and it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, and you can bet for the sequel. It's mostly just that stuff I'm excited to see. Pretty much the whole thing. So
Yes, excitement fuels both of us.
yeah.
Question for Josh from Mika Cotter: which character do you like voicing the most?
That's the question, isn't it? If you had asked me before the VN, I probably would have said Dart because Dart is. It's not that I don't like Kins. It's just that Kins I always found a lot easier to voice because I have a bit more of a nasally, medium to high voice, whereas Dart was, going a bit deeper and kind of his personality is a bit more different than mine. So I always find it fun to be able to kind of, play the opposite of me. But and this is a testament to Austin's writing, and I was telling him this when I was recording for Chief. I really enjoyed getting into Chief's head, or the Celsius novel, because I think there's just so much depth to him, and the aspects that were that we had talked about beforehand, but that also were just in the lines themselves, kind of gave me a lot more freedom to play with and to go deeper than I normally do. And I'm always a sucker for that when it comes to acting. So, if again before Celsius, I would have said Dart. After Celsius, I'm leaning towards Chief. So.
Yeah, and you didn't voice Chief before, so of course that's going to be a bias.
Right. Well, and that's kind of the thing. Full disclosure, I liked Chief in Brock the Investigator, but he was not my favorite character. In fact, there were quite a few characters above him, so it was kind of like going into this, I was like, well, I wasn't really expecting my opinion of him to change that much, but it's like, oh, okay, no, there is a lot more here, and that always kind of gets me to look twice at a character, and I think that endears me to them a lot more.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to post something unrelated, but that I found funny. Someone reacted to the news on Steam about the enhancement, and the translation from Chinese is "I'm so excited, I love hamsters." Yeah, maybe it's the same word in Chinese. I don't know. About that. So you have noticed that there aren't translations yet for the demo. Of course, the final game will be translated. I'm actually working on some kind of a collaborative website which would make the process of translating easier. So I'm going to use that for our next project. I'm going to try finishing that so some people can help with doing the translation into all those many languages. I don't know if people realize, but doing 10 translations for a project is a lot, especially for indie games. So we already rely a lot on fans to help. So that's going to make the process smoother, and of course we'll try to get this VN translated probably soon enough. The demo itself, we'll see, but that's going to take some time. Let's see the other questions. So Kuyo asked, I like how you're letting Chief be an antagonist and exploring his character instead of redemption arc. So yeah, not really a question, but yeah, it's I want to say even if these characters were enemies in the first game, they already were meant to have positive aspect about them. It wasn't all black or white. So that VN allows us to explore their personalities even more in depth.
Yeah, and so I would say, from my perspective on that, like, in Chief's mind, he doesn't need a redemption arc, and so that's kind of the perspective I'm coming at it from, which is this is a story set from their point of view, and it's not really, oh, here are the bad guys and look at how they're actually good. It's more just, well, look at what life is like for these people. How do they interact with each other? Even though these are, rat people in a post-apocalyptic hellscape, how do I write them so that they feel like real people, warts and all?
Yeah, when I said we'll love to make those characters grow, it can be the other way too. we don't know how the characters can evolve, but it's not always going to be happy at the end and everything goes fine, etc. No, of course, that can go multiple ways, and that's what makes it interesting, in my opinion. I would like to mention maybe if you have a second question, you can also post it on the topic, because we're almost at the end. So if you have a second one, why not?
Yeah. So if anybody has a second question that they wanted to ask, go ahead and ask it now. Again, in the thing, just to make it easier to see.
Yeah. So Slashter asks, when will there be a possibility we will get a game based on Thunder Jaws and Sharp Teeth's past? We could ask this question about many characters from the game. Where is I know many people ask, where is the clay game? Where is the flower, the religious woman? Where is her game?
I'm first in line for the clay game. I'm down for that.
Yeah, and I would like to say that's exactly why I was asking about pitches, because I'm interested in having more projects, but they are not going to happen out of thin air. It's always a lot of work. We need motivated people. So the door is open, but it's not going to be every character, of course, which is going to have more stuff. Maybe we are going to expand some of the most interesting ones. We'll see, but yeah, the door is open, but don't expect anything right now. We don't know. K-Ibo Studios asks, will there be any time-related events? Asking for a friend, that friend being me. What do you mean by time-related events? I'm not too sure. If you have an idea, Cypher.
Or do you mean time related, as in like how the demo is currently limited to 2 weeks on Steam?
So the reason I chose to do this is more a marketing thing. So I've noticed, and I'm a culprit of this myself, I have a huge backlog. So many things take our time. There's Netflix, there's so many games, there's socials, etc. So I see sometimes a game which looks cool. There's a demo. I say, oh yeah, that looks nice. Maybe I should try it someday. And of course, the someday never happens. So I didn't want this to happen to 2 hours. So I wanted to make sure people don't miss playing it. So yeah, that's some people might say it's a bit leaning on the fear of missing out, but for a free thing, I think it's all right. But yeah, we need people to play it because Steam's algorithm makes it that it checks this data of how many players are playing the game, how many people are wishlisting, following, etc. All this stuff, the trailer views, etc. So all this determines the Steam algorithm, how much visibility it's going to give you. And you know that there are so many games releasing nowadays. It's hard to get any visibility at all. So if we can get Steam to take notice because there's a lot of people playing the demo, for example, it will help the game and potentially allow us to get a higher budget for this. So yeah, that's one of the reasons the demo is time limited.
Yeah. So it looks like he said he meant like time travel related events.
Maybe.
Maybe. Definitely can't say that if there is any, that probably is going to be spoiler. So.
Yeah, I think it would be more likely to be maybe memories of the characters or past some cutscenes which show the past. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Ah yeah, I meant like time travel. Okay. Where is my hot game, Cocat? Well, that rejoins what I said earlier. Why not starting one? Of course, I always to take a look at what fans make too. So again, if you want to pitch something to me, why not? But I can't promise anything on the other end. Of course, I'll always try to let people know when there's a new fan game available. I add them to my itch.io page, so you can check. There are 5 of them right now, and yeah, it's really cool when people use the engine to make those fan games, and it could be a start of something more, but yeah, it's really case by case, and we'll see. So, joke. I do wonder though, so the game has a sort of building system to help make the setting better for the squealers, yes, to help them live better. I'll let you answer that, Cypher.
Yeah, so I would say it's more about to helping them survive rather than live better. So it's less SimCity and more don't starve, I guess. Um, which is
Yeah,
actually one of the reasons why, as you can see at the end of the prologue, there is the narrative framework of this upcoming deadly heat wave, and that's there specifically because it's to incentivize and heighten the reality that is they have to survive. They have to make do in a world and a system that uh, isn't supporting them or giving them, food, medicine, anything like that. So, yeah, that's going to be a very important part of the game is feeling like we need to survive. Ah.
We need pillows.
Yes,
Polyester pillows.
all the pillows.
yeah.
No, just polyester. I don't like the other kind.
Oh.
I don't like just the ester.
I had something in mind, but I forgot my idea. Too bad. But maybe it come back. Yeah, that's it. It's about the survival aspect. For someone who doesn't know, who hasn't played Brock, doesn't know the universe at all, I think the survival aspect is going to be the main selling point. Because the game is centered on making choices, so I think from a marketing point of view, for new players, because I'm hoping this game will also introduce more people to the Brock universe. So I think the survival thing is probably attractive to a lot of people. It's kind of trending genre, and it hasn't been done so often in a visual novel. You've seen that we lean on other games, popular ones like Zero Escape and stuff like that. Which already had this kind of aspect, but we're treating it in a different way because we have to lead a whole colony, a whole team of people. So it's not you're not alone. It's about making choices with the other characters from the crew. So I think that should give an identity to the game and make it attractive to new people, new potential of players. Let's see.
Well, to quickly piggyback off of that, one of the things that was important for me is that I wanted this game to obviously expand upon the world of Brock, but it should stand on its own. And so it should be something that, somebody who's never even heard of Brock could look at the game and be like, ooh, this seems interesting. I want to play it.
Mm. Yeah. Fox McCloud Gamer asks, I have a question for the Patreon. Are there gonna be more rewards available in the future, or just the 2 for now? So when you say 2, that's not the number of rewards actually, because there are 2 tiers, but for each tier there are a number of rewards. Let me check the list, but for example, in the Slumber tier, which is $5, you get the most important stuff, which is getting access to early builds. I'll let people know, of course, when there is going to be builds exclusive to Patreon. So people might subscribe at that point. But the $5 tier is enough for that. You'll get some exclusive development posts and updates. You'll get some polls to ask for your opinions. And also, we'll offer the full game on release to people who will be subscribed for several months. I think I wrote 3 months. If you are subscribed for 3 months, you should be able to get the full game when it's released on Steam. By the way, I try to see if I can make it work on more platforms like mobile, for example, Android, iOS. Maybe there will be early bids for those too, because my engine, as you've seen with the first ad, for example, I made an Android build available on the itch.io page. So yeah, with the engine, that makes it easier to manage multiple platforms. So maybe I'll be able to add that. For the Squealer tier, which is $10, you also get the OST in high quality in digital form. You'll have the most important stuff is exclusive dev stream with us. We're going to do some streams with the Patreons, so you can see what we are going to work on. And you'll get a special Squealer role on Discord. So I was surprised because most people so far they pick up the highest tier. We have 8 members right now with the $10 tiers and 2 on the $5 one, and a bunch of free tier also. So yeah, that was surprising to me. I thought most people would get the $5 tiers, but that's great to see that some people are already wants to support us with this. And to answer the initial questions, yeah, there could be more rewards available, but we'll have to think about what could be added. I had an idea, but I forgot. I think there was something we wanted to add, but right now I forgot. Nook Day asks, Cocat, how many pitches for the VN have you received so far? Not many. I think maybe 2 or 3. I think I didn't spend a lot of time telling people to do pitches, because I wanted to have this VN in particular available to showcase what it can do. And I thought maybe making a high quality game would show people that yeah, this engine can do great stuff, can be a contender competition to RNP, and so maybe that will increase in the future, but it's always about having motivated people, because what you don't see is the amount of work to make a project. It's always a whole lot of hours spent on working on stuff. So yeah, we'll see. I can't promise anything. It's also up to the people who submit stuff. Baron Giving asks, since the game have a different music composer, how it differs from the main game, like how the music composer could imagine how the music vibe will be for the game. That's a bit difficult for me to answer this stuff, honestly. Yeah, we're going to give instructions, but I'm not sure I'm not in the mind of the composer, but we always try to make sure they know about the action and what happens, etc. You still there?
Yeah.
Ah,
So
yeah, okay. I was wondering if you are still there. Okay.
yeah. Um, yeah. So I'm very frequently engaged, with any composer, both for the tracks that Python did, but then also for the trailer track that Matt did for the trailer. And I have a copious amount of musical references that fit the vibe that I'm looking to achieve for the game. So songs and soundtracks from other works that are like, yeah, this sounds like I'm looking for, or this sort of mood, or this energy in this song. So, in addition to making sure that I clearly describe what I want from the individual tracks that are being made for the VN, I also have quite a bit of references to help steer them in the right direction, to match what I'm imagining or desiring from the music.
So Slashter asks, because of the development of Celsius trays and there being no new projects outside of that, very likely that we should see more updates to Brock the Brawl Bar unless something on the side gets announced. Would that be possible later this year or even something for next year while we wait for the game's release? So I did one first update when I launched on consoles, which added a bunch of more challenges, which are in all platforms. I still plan to release the game on mobile someday, but as you can see, I've been really busy with this game for a long time now, and I really want to move on. So I'm still going to do maybe one or two updates once in a while, but that won't be the focus. I'm going to spend time on new projects right now, and come back to it once in a while, especially to add fan creations, because there's a lot of stuff on the workshop. So yeah, there will be workshop characters added to the game. But yeah, that's the extent of the updates you can expect from now on to the board bar. But there's already a lot of content in this game, including daily challenges, which are potentially infinite. So yeah, I think there's a lot of content already for a $10 game. Um, yeah. Okay. So we're reaching the end of the question, I think. Here's a more funny question for the Squealer Squad. I want to hear from each one of you. Chief Dartkins, what are your favorite foods? I know Kins ate it was a jar food stuff, but I want to know what you guys indeed love to eat when possible. Josh, you can do the voices of them if you can.
Well, I can't speak for these but for me, I love Choco Licks. I enjoy the simple pleasures, and for me, that is Choco Licks.
I don't know.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to sustenance, I think my buddy Kins over there is a bit weak sauce. What you really got to go for are the cricket biscuits because they got a good crunch, you know? The crunch reminds me of what it's like when you've got someone in a headlock and you just, that's what it's like for me eating cricket biscuits. I have no idea what these two are talking about. We haven't had those things in stock in ages, and honestly, it's been so long since I've eaten period that I probably couldn't tell you what my favorite food is. I've forgotten the taste of food. Anger and rage are my food. That is what keeps me going.
That's great. I was wondering if you were able to answer that. You did great. We're going to add more food to the lore document.
Let's see. Maximus Wolf asks, what was the most expensive?
You're cutting again.
I'm cutting out?
Yeah.
No. Expensive part of making the game. I think
Is Sandy.
yes, the emotional toll. um, the single most expensive thing was um, probably the trailer music, because that was something that I really wanted to make sure was solid and knocked it out of the park, and grabbed people's attention. So it wasn't the most expensive, like, overall, because it was a single thing, but probably the most expensive single thing. If that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think the expense of making such products is just the time we spend on it, especially because the longer you spend, the more money you spend. But I'm not worried about that. If we can get more via the Patreon, at least it can help. Reaching maybe this goal of making animated cutscene, we'll see.
Yeah.
And develop more
Well,
projects.
Yeah. So depending on how well the Patreon does, that will definitely influence how much we can invest into things like a bigger soundtrack or more detailed backgrounds, or potentially even animated cutscenes or whatever. So obviously none of that's a promise or anything. We are currently developing it, within the budget means we have right now. But if the Patreon does well and increases those that budget, then we will certainly look at investing that money into making it even better.
Please send money to us poor creators. please.
Yes.
I had written some stuff myself. My question is, why didn't you choose to make a Dr. Mink game?
Honestly, for that, it's more. I think it really has to do with I am first and foremost a writer before I am a voice actor or an artist, and so the story potential of the rats just captured me in a way that was like, oh, this is a story that needs to be told. Whereas I didn't really think of an equivalent story for Dr. Mink, where I was like, oh, there's a story that needs to be told. Which isn't to say that Mink couldn't have a story all on his own or something like that. But at least what came to my mind, it was all rats.
Can we get Dr. Mink to talk about what he thinks about the VN, the rat VN?
Well, I don't know anything about this rat VN. However, I do know that the squealers are just wretched, awful things, and you can't trust them. I would know because of that wretched guard. He's always looking at me with a side eye, like he's judging me. But
So,
I'll have the last laugh.
so
Hey,
Dr.
Doc.
Mick,
You know I know where you live, right?
And I have acid I could throw on your face.
Dr. Mick
Acid means nothing to me.
is a right hater.
Well, I'll have you know, I was held on trial for murder. I'm capable of a lot.
Okay. Oh yeah, I had another question myself. Where is the generic rat? What happened to him? I'm surprised no one asked.
The generic rat will show up. Not as a named character, obviously, because that would go against being a generic rat.
Don't I get a name?
Because your name is generic the rat.
Uh,
But yeah, like I mean, I will. The generic rat character model will appear.
Yeah, and someone asked about the character on the main art of the main game. You know, the one who looks like Kims but is on the other side. That character pretty much became Lai, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so I'll answer both that and then what some people are asking about Rogue. Yeah, so the initial inspiration for Lai's design came from that unnamed rat on the cover art of Brock. Now, not saying that that rat is Lai, but that was the initial inspiration. Hence the droopy blonde emo hair. And then also the question about generic rat and Rogue and everything. So the character of Rogue in the VN is a specific, unique character who draws heavy inspiration from the look of the generic rat. But he is his own character, fully fleshed out and everything, and has, you know, a unique design to him. So basically, because in Brock, the generic rats had like a dozen random potential names, I took the name Rogue as like oh well, what if there was, you know, a squealer rat named Rogue, and what would he look like? And so he takes inspiration from the generic rat look, but he's his own thing.
Yeah. Mm, I would like to mention something which is totally unrelated, but you know that we've sent a batch of comics, and I handled the international ones. But considering the issues of sending to USA from here lately, actually, all the comics which were for delivering to USA were handled by Cypher. So yeah, you've all received comics from Dr. Mick himself. At least those of you who are in the USA.
Yes, and that's actually a good update. So every U.S. comic that was, you know, done through the Kickstarter and everything is in the mail. So that should be arriving hopefully in the next couple of days, couple of weeks. So if you got a U.S. copy of the comic, it is in the mail.
Hooray!
Okay, Sherlock asks two voice actors, what's your favorite voice lines? That's always difficult to reply, but if you have some ideas, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm trying to think through all of them.
Yeah, it's always complicated.
So like if we're talking just the VN, then I really liked Kins's wheelbarrow moment where he's just so excited about bringing in the wheelbarrow, and so I'm just standing in the booth going wheelbarrow, over and over again. That was a lot of fun. Dart doesn't have as many lines that stuck out to me as much in the VN. Honestly, my favorite time voicing Dart was in the Brawl Bar because I liked getting into some of his backstory about wanting to be a wrestler and stuff like that. And for Chief, uh, okay, this is going to be a bit of a cop out, but it was kind of fun. Anytime I get to do a lot of fight sounds and throw in a few oh damn it, and this and that, that's always kind of fun for me because it gets you in the it sort of heightens your emotions and kind of makes you feel what the character's feeling. So pretty much all of Chief's action scenes were my favorite to voice.
Yeah, I swear quite a bit.
Yeah.
I had a lot of laughs when I heard Keynes in this day, and when I've seen this stuff for 2 years, suddenly there was voice acting, and it really gives a whole other level. It really changes how you perceive the game. I feel, and yeah, it's very funny.
Yeah. So for me, I mean, obviously, I didn't do too much voice work.
Maybe you should say, yeah, who do you voice in the VN? Cypher.
Yeah, so I did the voices for Crix, the Tribot, the Stranger, and Lie. Which that is very much a case of what I was talking about before about how some of this stuff might be placeholders. I do not anticipate voicing all of those characters in the final game. I don't think that my range quite fits all of them, but needs must.
Yeah,
As far as
you prefer to be Bjorn. That's your favorite character.
yes, yes, I prefer to be human. As far as a favorite line, though, I did enjoy doing the voice work for the Stranger. Specifically, if the player, and some people may not know this, if the player sees the short secret scene, if they totally destroy the drone and go ham on it, and Chief is a lot more aggressive. And when the Stranger appears, it changes the lines a little bit. So there's a bit more caution and also disdain, both layered into the vocal performance. And the Stranger as a whole is somebody who makes a lot of use of subtleties in performance, and so putting that in the performance was fun to do, and trying to capture those nuances.
So Richmond had a question about coding. In your development, in terms of coding, what was the hardest thing you've ever worked on? Hardest, like when your sanity is at its peak. I'm sure it's about variables or stuff like that.
Yeah, what was it?
By the way, I'm going to dig into the coding to make some stuff cleaner, more usable. I'm going to do some work myself also to make sure we don't copy paste some too many stuff, and make sure it's going to be smooth development from here. So yeah, I won't leave Cypher alone on the coding part. I'm going to to have a hand in it too.
Well, you won't leave me alone just because you hate all the times I do copy paste code.
Yeah,
You won't allow me to be left alone.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
For the
sorry,
translations
go on.
yeah, for the translations and accessibility, I we are also going to revise some stuff to make it easier. So that's why the translations have not started at all yet, but it's going to happen
Yes.
soon enough.
But as far as the most difficult thing to program, probably the longest thing to program was the decision mechanic with Kins and Dart, because that is a very long stretch of code. But the most difficult thing to program probably was the lockbox, because not only did I have to program in it to count how many inputs the player has done and if the inputs are correct, but then in addition to that, I had to find a way of programming in um, after the player has successfully input the first code, if they re-input the same exact code again the second time, I wanted that to have a different response, and among other things. And so finding a way of having all of the different options correctly happen depending on what the player does, that was probably the most difficult one.
Yeah, that stuff is always all the interactivity is always a bit complicated, but we're going to reuse stuff, so that should be easier progressively.
Yeah.
Uh,
Let's see. Sketchy Dog asks, for Cypher, do you think having done voice acting previously helped you in any particular way for game development? For game development,
that's
I would say no.
yeah, that's two totally separate things.
But it did help me in when I was getting the voices done and sent in from Lee and Brendan, the actors for Meringue and Wick, and then also Josh, of course. It did help me to direct them and also describe to them in a way that an actor can understand of what I'm looking for from the script. So that helped, but didn't really play a part in the actual game development.
Yeah. We mentioned, by the way, that we're going to revise some parts, like the UI, in the future, so you can look forward to that as well. I'm going to add more stuff to the engine, of course. Maybe you didn't notice, but I have finally done something I've been wanting to do for years and years, for a decade almost, which is to have screenshots of what's actually on the screen in the thumbnails of the saves. That might not seem like hard stuff, but believe me, that's really hard to do, and I'm glad it's working now.
Yeah.
So that will be in future projects as well.
There are so many little things that add up.
All the details is always hard.
Yeah. So stuff like that is hugely impactful and impressive to have in the game.
So I think we mostly answered that already, but Cyclone Blaze asks, any other surprises we'll be seeing this story, like cameos from Brock, or purely new thing set of characters for this universe? And hi to all the people involved. So yeah, of course there's going to be enough stuff happening because we're only at the start of this story. And yeah, we did mention that some characters from Brock will make some cameos.
Yeah, so there will be some cameos, but not so temporary. Yes, there will be some, and there will also be a lot of new characters as well.
Yeah, so San Puppy asked, so in Brock, Chief said they couldn't reproduce with other species. Do they inbred? Is that why Dart looks like a younger version of Chief? I don't think they are related. But yeah, when I wrote this in Brock, I thought that would be something interesting to explore, which will also explain why they are a separate group. They are always considered differently from all the other species. So yeah, that was more a starting point to explore, and I'm sure Cypher will find ways to make this interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, so that aspect of how the rats as a species are different from the other people of Atlasia is definitely going to be something that'll be factored into the story. I can't yet say exactly how or all of that sort of stuff due to spoilers and whatnot, but yeah, no, it factors in.
Okay, I think we'll answer the remaining questions and then maybe we'll wrap up. Um, so Macodimus asks for Cypher, was it hard coming up with some of the new character names and or design? I'll be just saying, I'm sure that's something he was actually looking forward to do the most.
Yeah, it honestly comes pretty easily to me. I keep a notepad document full of story ideas and random character names and just words I think sound cool. And whenever I'm beginning a project, I'll refer back to that and scan through and see if anything feels like it connects to what I'm working on. Um, and other times it'll just be stuff that I see in day-to-day life that inspires me. So, for example, when I first began concepting out the VN, I was working my day job at a hardware store, and I was doing the inventory and putting up product, and I was putting up canisters of lye, and I looked at that and I was like, you know what? It just looks cool. I like how that word looks. That feels like it could be the name of a character. Um, and also, funnily enough, working at that same job, putting up items and everything, I saw there is a electronics um, little tiny plug thing that is used in repairs and electronics and all that sort of stuff, and its technical name is called butt splice. And I saw that, and I'm like, oh, that's a perfect insult, and so that's why Ken's says that in the VM. But as far as like character designs, usually that comes pretty easily. I've done character design both professionally and for fun for years and years and years. Sometimes it comes very easily, and I knock it out of the park on the first go. Other times it is very rough, and I have to iterate, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And in that case, usually what happens is if I'm having trouble getting the right feel for a character's design, then I will just usually sleep on it and come back to it on the next day, and that'll usually end up giving me new ideas and kind of refresh my imagination.
Yeah, when we write stuff, we can get creativity from anywhere, and I also wanted to mention that Cypher has always been working on a Brock project before. You may not have noticed it, but he's worked on the Boxer Brock animations for the Brawl Bar, the RJ animations in the main game, and other stuff like that. So even though the VN is the main big thing. He's always been out there in background doing stuff, and also the Brock Idol animation in the main game. You've done all this stuff, and you've done a lot of cool sketches. You may not have seen all of them, but I did.
Also, did editing on the script for the comic as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But the thing is, I'm not a native English person, so of course, when I write, it's not exactly going to be exactly correct. So yeah, you've revised some of the dialogue and stuff that I have written. Oh, I see. GlassesGator is making a cute Doctor Mink.
I'm always jealous of people who can draw Mink so well and so quickly. He does not come naturally to my artistic senses. So that is looking fantastic, Glasses.
I think some people are wanting to know if the Q&A was recorded because we had a couple of latecomers.
I am recording it.
Ah, good.
Okay. /ter posted a video, but I'm not sure it has something to do with the questions. Alright, Meza asks, what is behind of the name of Sulfur Strays and have some relation with the upcoming heat wave?
Yeah, I really like thematically rich names for stories, especially if they have like double or triple meaning. And so that is the case here. I can't go into what all the meanings are. That'll be something that I hope people kind of feel out for themselves, as they experience the game itself. But yes, one of the things is that I did very much want to invoke the feelings of heat and pressure and danger, and so the relation or the fact that there is a heat wave that plays a part in the story is not accidental. That is absolutely on purpose.
Yeah, if it were me, I would have gone with something much more simple, which I think I would have named it Squealers. But yeah, Cypher's idea was better in the end. Yeah, I think it's more mysterious. It's more thematically correct, and I'm going to ask something which I think I saw it before, and that's if people are going to know what Chief's real name is.
Yes, I saw people questioning that in various places. Chief's name and the story behind that, and why he only goes by Chief. Again, yeah, that's on purpose. I'm very much a believer in everything that a writer does is purposeful in one way or another. And so, as the writer of this story, um, nothing happens by accident. Um, and so, yeah, stuff like Chief's name, why he goes by that, what is his real name, that will play a part in the story, and it will be something that players will learn and uncover in one way or another.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to be a chef after watching Ratatouille, but people misspelled it, and then he was chief.
Shush.
Stop spoiling.
Ah.
Yeah, I did give him a name, and you'll know someday. Where did I put the topic? Let me see. Borlanger asks, I'm one of the dumb one who entered the same code twice in a row. Is recorded? Yeah. Alright, and the last question. Sun Puppy asks, this isn't about Celsius, but will there be more broad comics? For now, there's nothing in the pipeline. But maybe if we can get the right plot with the right persons, maybe. But this comic, I've always meant it to be an individual thing. It could have been several because the pace was really fast. It was very dense, and there's a lot of stuff happening in those pages. But yeah, maybe someday there will be more comics, but we'll see. It's not. I'll be honest. It's not super profitable. It's a lot of work. You may not notice it, but that's a lot of artworks to make. It took more than a year to draw, etc. So it's always a lot of work. We're not in this business like professionals, comic creators, so it's always harder, but we'll always consider, yeah, maybe someday.
Yeah.
Okay, and Nook Day asked about the Mr. Guard's name. Yeah, he also has a name, and you'll know someday.
Well, now that we've reached the end of the questions, I want to scroll back and highlight Glasses' incredible artwork that he's been doing. Let's see, I've got that. Okay, I got them both pulled up because we all need to spend some time appreciating this.
Yeah, so the reason it's mostly broadbar characters is that these are some of the past event requests which he's been doing, so that's why.
Yeah, so going through these one by one, I do adore the Chief and the Rat Kid. I think that sums up a lot of the unique perspective on him that we're going to see in this VN, which is, hey, he does have, a kinder side. He's of course also got his crazy, destructive side, but especially around, the rat kids and everything, he's a bit of a softie. So that's a really, really nicely done doodle.
Yeah, I remember when you did one of the first poses for him, and he was really smiling, and I said, maybe that's a bit too much because I always saw him as a very harsh and always angry person who has to command everything, etc. And So, but it's nice to show that even someone like him can have deep inside some or some feelings, etc. Even if he usually won't show it.
Yeah. Yeah, I do remember that having to tone down the smile on one of his poses because, yeah, you were right. It's like, it's a little too much. He's more of a sourpuss than that.
Especially in front of his crew.
Yeah. I love the expression on Brock. He looks like he's out of a cartoon. Um, and
Yeah.
I don't know who turned,
It-
Graph into a box. Maybe the Chief did, and
It's
that's the dichotomy right there. Chief
well,
loves,
no.
rats.
See, almost everyone missed my joke earlier. I said he wouldn't be an Xbox; he would be a TurboGrafx 16.
yeah, that's good one. Yeah, that's the dream of Graph, being able to play games all day and don't no, have no worries. Yeah, it's stupid.
Uh, I don't know why Wes is having Ott do his taxes for him, but gotta teach him early, I guess. Ott is prepared for adulthood, so that's good. Mature.
I disagree. Pastries they can't do accounting. That doesn't work.
Oh, he's doing the police's tax work.
Should do cooking.
If people think AI will do our work for us, no, the AI is going to make us do all the work.
Mm.
Why have AI do the work for you when you can have your very own Ott do the work for you?
Yeah, and that rejoins Dr. Mink. Dr. Mink's cage. Dr. Mink is into AI. He's going to be banned now.
Yeah. See, everybody thinks, all right, so with this VN, everybody's like, oh, wow, I never realized that Chief could be so nice. I like him now. Well, everybody thinks Dr. Mink is nice. I'm sorry to break it to you. This guy supports AI, so it's going to be the reverse. Everybody's going to be like, I never realized how much I hate Dr. Mink. Oh, he's terrible.
He uses his AI nanobots to make life-size figures of Dr. Hush.
Yeah. And then throws them in the ass. Let's see. And then the other three are puzzles absolutely going ham on a tripod who did nothing to deserve it. I feel like this is just violent behavior that needs to be curtailed.
So you're taking the tribot side now. That's interesting.
You know what? We need some stability in Atlasia, and puzzles ain't it.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
I do
We,
love the little tender draw in the background, though. That's great.
we shouldn't show such behavior to kids. That's not a good thing. I'm not sure Tender Joe is giving a good example to puzzles there.
Exactly. Yeah. Speaking of, and immediately following that up, we got Tender Draw, teaching puzzles the way of violence. The very next picture, young
Yeah.
Tenderjaw teaching his daughter the way of violence.
Yeah, I saw violence.
It's such
Those people
violence.
suck. And they are apparently talking about violence again. With a shark.
Violence is a forgotten love language.
Yeah, all those big guys who want to punch you, to kick you. Uh,
The question is, Glasses, who's he punching there?
hmm.
I don't recognize those feet.
That's going to be difficult to answer.
No
I think
specific.
I'm sure it's Clay. Poor Clay.
Ah, Clay went back in time only to end up in a fighting ring to get beat up.
Yeah, poor Clay. It's always poor innocent Clay.
Ivy does look adorable, though. I like the little frills on her coat that you gave her. It almost looks like, how Chief has the ripped shirts, shirt sleeves on his thing, but for her it looks more like little feathery princess garb or something. It's cute. And finally, but not leastly, is Sharp Teethy.
Hmm.
Who
We
looks
we
incredible.
we still haven't revealed him and Ivy officially, so that's going to happen eventually. But we're going to make some reference art about them. Oh, by the way, we are Cypher is also working on adding some reference art for the VN characters, so you can
Yes.
look forward to that. And eventually, we're going to also add a fan art section into the menu, kind of like the main game. So you can, of course, submit your fan arts already on the Discord or on socials. So yeah, that also helps bringing attention to it. So it's always a kind of win-win stuff. Because you can get your art in directly in the game, and it spreads the word about it. So yeah, that's always a cool thing, which I think worked well for the main game, and I try to do that to the future projects too.
Yeah, and anybody who takes the time to draw fan art, I mean, that's
Yeah, and
it's
we
awesome
love
to see, but it's especially mind blowing for me, now being
yeah
on the other side of things.
we love to
So
see people doing art of our characters. Of course, it's pretty amazing when you see still after 4 years of release almost how many fan art broker can still get. That's really amazing.
yeah, yeah,
It keeps things alive even when we don't have anything to announce. It helps. It really helps.
yeah. And honestly, what Glasses has done here is a perfect example of that. Is just seeing these characters in such lively, expressive situations and everything. It's so cool seeing that. So fantastic work, Glasses, with these doodles and giving people a visual stimulus during all this. Excellent work. And one thing as well that absolutely needs to be said, about Celsius is, for anybody who has played the demo, left a review, and especially for those who have, supported on the Patreon, just thank you so much for taking the time and showing your support and giving your feedback and everything. It means an incredible amount to me, and none of that is taken for granted.
I I,
You know,
mi-
my
I misheard you. I
well,
thought you said giving your feet.
no, you can keep the feet. Um, um, but no, it's immensely humbling for me. I my goal is just to create something good that engages people and inspires them and tells a story worth telling. And to see people already resonating with that is it's just mind blowing. So thank you
Yeah,
everybody for being here and your support and whatnot.
I'm honestly blown up by the reception of this band. I really didn't know what to expect. And yeah, it's currently doing. Is getting more attention than even the main game, so that's amazing. I never got a video on YouTube which had so many likes in such a short time. There are more than 1,000 likes already, and so yeah, that spells good stuff for the future. But if you wanna support us, don't forget about the Patreon, because we don't we had a lot of stuff to talk about when we announced it, so we didn't mention it that much. But yeah, eventually, if you want to play future builds and get to follow the development, etc. Well, yeah, don't hesitate. Even as a free subscriber, you can also subscribe for free, and you should get some news about the development and artworks and stuff. Yeah, that helps. So yeah, I posted the link. You can subscribe if you want, and of course, don't forget to wishlist if you haven't already. I'll repost also that, but yeah, wishlist, play the demo if you haven't, and all that.
Yeah, and that's a good point about the wish listing, because you can wish list the main game, which is on a different page than the demo on Steam. So if you haven't done that, then that helps with the algorithm stuff.
Yeah.
Yada yada yada. We've all heard YouTubers say that sort of stuff. So you get the drill.
Yeah, and on the demo page you can also leave a review, and that also helps. So you be sure to post a review if you've played the demo. You can do that directly on the Steam page. I'm going to repost here. So yeah. And yeah, I mentioned it's super crazy that there is not a single dislike on the trailer video so far. There are 25 reviews on Steam. They're all positive, and so yeah, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for your support, and we'll have more stuff to show progressively. It's only going to get bigger from here.
Yeah.
And
there's a lot of game and a lot of story planned, so I'm excited for people to see it and experience it.
So thanks everyone for coming. Thanks to my voice actors and everyone working hard on this project. Thanks to Glasses for the superb sketches, which are really fun.
Yes.
And that's it.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, subscribe or Kings will show up to your house unannounced. Yeah, Kings is going to be angry if you don't. You don't want to make
at
Kings
3 a.m.
angry.
when Kings calls. Let me see. So, that's gonna do it for the event. I'll stick around for a little bit longer because there's some other stuff I wanted to respond to, namely, oh heavens, I'm forgetting the name. Oh, forgive me for not knowing your name off the top of my head. Somebody was doing sketches as well and posting them, and I did not get the chance to properly look at those and respond. Sherlock, that's right. Yeah, so I don't know if he's still around.
Yeah, they are super cool. Yeah, I saw them.
Yeah.
in the chat.
If those could be reposted and linked
Yeah.
at the top, I would love to see them and comment.
Yeah. And you can post them in fanart, of course, on the server.
Yes, of course.
Alright. Yeah, maybe we'll do another event like this in the future, of course. We'll see.
Yeah.
Whenever.
Well, thanks for arranging this, Fabrice, and Glasses again for doing the sketches on the art. It was fun to do and good to see everybody here.
Yeah, and I'll try to repost this on the YouTube channel soon.
Yes.
Alright, thank you everyone.